Right now, I'm in a holiday spirit. Got you, right? Then I went down to the casino for a couple days and tore them up. You know what I'm saying? I still got chips in my pocket. So I gotta go back there. I gotta go back. That's my excuse to go back.
I'm trying to give you, I'm trying to take that excuse away from you.
Right. Look, I'm trying to get that diamond status. I wasn't using my card at the beginning of the year. I wasn't using my card, I didn't know, right? Somebody said, hey, as much as you can, boom, 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 boom. I said, all right, so I started using my card. Now I'm 2,000 points away from getting my diamond.
Right. Okay.
So I gotta go like once every other day, something like that, to keep playing. By the end of December, at the end of December, they starts all over. So I want diamond now. So when we go to that event down old school joint at AC, I get free rooms, baby.
Right, let's go.
Hey, man. I'm ready. Like, oh, they catching me out there.
You already live there. They catching me out there. Just bumping and whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
The link is up. I see, baby. Hey, HBR, are you enjoying this today?
Yes.
You enjoying this today? Because I know you're going to hate this first track. I just want y'all to be on tune with me right now. I know y'all want to hate me right now.
We gonna love you.
Y'all want to ask me how I'm feeling. I'm going to tell y'all how I'm feeling.
Good afternoon, good brothers and sisters. Thanks for tuning in to Good Brother Talk. We coming to you live on CMP Radio. We got my good brother E here in the building. We got my good brother QDZ in the fam over here.
Better known as E-Matic.
We got Willa. You know what I mean? We got John P in the background.
Yeah.
And then we got my man DJ Chuck on the ones and twos.
Yo, what's up?
I just want to tell everybody thanks for tuning in to Good Brother Talk Season 2, Episode 40, called Protect Your Neck. And you're definitely going to be needing to protect your neck today, because as you can see, I'm going to represent the Bird Gang to the fullest. My man said he gonna be brand neutral today. I got witnesses here that said he was gonna be brand neutral. I don't know why the hell he got on Washington Redskin colors. I guess that's blood.
That's
he must be seeing blood in his eyes.
That's the Indian in me, matching my skin.
I love you. The skin is just
But check this out. What's the topic today, my man asked Pete? My man Pete said, what's the topic today?
We got quite a few pieces, so we're going to give you a nice little
Tune is going to be nice, baby.
Just sit tight. We got you, good brother. We just want to get all this other stuff out the way, but we're going to delve into, we're going to talk a little bit about sex.
But first, we're going to talk about a little about sex today.
Right.
I ain't going to say I'm an expert in it, but I know a lot about it.
We're going to talk about these holidays and the depression that comes with it, how to cope with it, good brother. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? My man didn't ask me how I felt.
I am going to ask you.
He didn't ask me
I
how I
had to
felt.
flip the script. You came in Philly live, so guess what? We're going to jump right into these festivities. How you feeling today, good brother E?
I feel impossible.
Ooh.
You know why?
Ooh,
Impossible. Because
Oh,
there
goodness.
might be a slight possibility that y'all might beat us.
Oh.
Ain't
Is
that?
that an admission of guilt? Is that an admission
No,
of
no,
guilt?
no, I
You want to
said-
speak some truth?
It's a slight possibility.
Okay, a slight
That's why
possibility.
it's impossible.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what's happening, because like we did on last time we played, we put a little wager up. Now we're gonna continue the trend. Are we gonna double back up?
Oh yeah, we can do.
We're gonna double that up.
I want to give
brother.
a shout out to Tony McCall Reed,
Okay,
Pete
shout
Rice,
out. Mm-hmm.
Tanya Mean Girl Tucker. What's up? Oh, Eagles in the house. Tanya, you know
That's
I got.
right. Hey, Tanya, we behind you, baby girl. That's right, good sister. Keep on rocking them birds.
You know what? I'm not going to give a shout out to the Eagles fans. I'm going to tell you all that.
Wow. You see the bias?
I did. I made a mistake.
Where's the
It's already out there.
By the way, shout out to Mom Dukes. Thanks for tuning in, sweetheart. You know your son over here love you. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to Cowboys Bar and Grill.
Oh my goodness. I don't see no blue up in this drink, but it's okay. It's okay. So, Q, how you feel today, man?
I'm feeling great, feeling relieved. So
Okay, you're not feeling impossible?
I'm feeling impossible.
Okay. I want to tell everybody that we
I'm
kidnapped
feeling
Ezekiel
smooth.
Elliott, you know what I'm saying? He cut his hair off in the building.
Hey,
Zeke-
Zeke not wearing baby
So,
shirts around his forehead.
When newsflash come up on the NFL Network that Zeke Elliott not playing for the Cowboys, he decided to sit on Good Brother Talk for the day with the panel. This is way more important than
Energy.
Okay.
You know, you always gotta take pride in your
Okay.
yourself.
As long as you feeling my energy,
Yeah, I'm
bro.
feeling your energy.
And I'm gonna tell you, all my tickets
But I
I
can't
put in
convert
today.
to that.
Oh, time out.
I'm putting some
You
tickets.
play
I put some tickets.
Wow. Look
I ain't
at
put no tickets in a minute. I put
Right,
tickets
okay.
in, and I feel real good about it.
Good.
Now I put some tickets in for a couple other people.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that. Okay.
My tickets, I'm good.
They going down, right?
I'm good.
And finally, Nella, how we feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing today.
Okay, she feeling amazing
These
today.
days,
Right.
right.
when
We was gonna keep it going with the Eagles.
Don't take my word. Don't take change my word. It's amazing.
I'm loving the energy that's coming out here. Every time the Eagles play the Cowboys, you already know we got to cut up on this show here. So just know that during this whole episode, we gonna be getting it in. And finally, my man's on the ones and twos, DJ Chuck.
Y'all ain't see him rocking to the
How
joint.
we
He was real
feel today?
serious back then.
Oh, man. I'm chuckerific today, you know?
This buzz for you, baby. This buzz for you.
I don't know, you gotta
That's
step
all
our
your
name up.
words,
We gotta
you
get
We
know?
gotta step our name up,
Everybody
man.
taking something, I'm taking something.
Wow, I like it. You got the Christmas tree up, got a big present in there. Hope that's for us, man.
Oh, ho, ho.
You know what I mean? Oh, he even said, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. We got Santa Claus back there. That's Negro Claus.
Yo, it's gonna, hey, you know
Black
what?
Santa.
It's gonna be a good show today. Like
Yes,
my man
yes,
said,
yes.
we're gonna talk about sex.
Yup.
We're gonna talk about the holidays, depression,
Yup.
how it feels to be if you're in the military.
You wanna
We're gonna
rock
talk
out?
about all that.
That's what we're
So
supposed to do.
stay tuned. Let's rock out. And if y'all have anything to say, come on in.
There you go. So we're going to start off with the CMP radio lineup roll call as usual. We kick off the week. Good Brother Talk on Sundays at 12 to 2. Then we're followed by Sisters at 3. And then in the evening, we get an hour with Polo at 7. Then we get into the work week. And you got to start it off with the morning meeting. You know what I mean? With Mr. Yeah, I Said It. You know what I mean? And Miss Info. They come on every day, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12. Then they're followed by Yes God Radio, which come on Mondays and Thursdays at 5. And then once you get settled in, you want to talk about some business and economics and all that good stuff, sit down with a bunch of distinguished businessmen in the tune of J.R. King. Then, before that, you had the Wellness Police at 5. Then we go into Wednesdays, where we're going to chop it up during the hump day, because best believe we got to chop it up in the middle of the work week. And what's the best time to chop it up with Mike Martin? Please tune in at 8 o'clock to chop it up with good brother Mike. Thursdays, come sit on the couch with Living with a Purpose with Leroy and Friends. That come on at 8. We need some counseling, good therapeutic, and all that good stuff. And once you get all this good therapy, it's time to put the kids to bed. We're not going to get rated R, we're going to get XR with parental advisory.
You know
10
what? I'm gonna
o'clock.
have to come up on that show one
Guess
day.
what,
you know
good brother?
I mean?
It's funny you said
I had to come up on
at
that
the
show.
appreciation
you know
show, at the appreciation dinner we had, sat down with Mary herself, and I told her that she was going to come on. She said, hey, the door is open. So the invitation is there. I said, you want to do a sneak attack. We don't want to do it on script. We doing impromptu. We kicking the door. But we're not gonna be waving the 4-4.
In the
It's
moment.
too late. It's too late for y'all to be kicking indoors. You might get shot.
Right,
Something
right.
like
You're
that.
right, Mr. He said it
Yeah,
like it's shot out here
I
in
mean,
these main
and I
streets.
don't want nobody, you know.
We don't need that. We
you know what I
don't
mean?
need
Friendly
that.
fire is not good.
Friendly
So,
fire. Speaking of which, your friendly fire.
Let me know you coming. So,
Got you. And by the time we get to Friday, we're going to give you the feel-good talk with yours truly, DJ Chuck. That's at 6:30. And then finally followed by the No Filter Show. My man John P. and Maserati Ryan.
We just
Check them out.
we just changed that. I'm sorry.
Okay, they changed it. What's
It's,
the name?
It's Monday.
I'm
it's
sorry,
Monday
good brothers and
from 9
sisters.
to
Taking off to
11.
Friday. Seems like on Monday they got a real robust lineup.
Kickoff.
Because at 9 o'clock,
9:30.
9:30, No Filter
9:30.
Show moves from Friday to Mondays at 9:30. So
Right.
I'm sorry about that. We just found out about that.
Yeah.
Good brother E, would you like to run down the sponsors?
But before I give a shout out to the sponsors, I want to say I got a lot of stuff going on
Okay.
within the next couple of weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
I found out they're giving me an appreciation party down
Yes.
Fifth Street Bar.
It's big.
I mean, because they say that I support everybody in the city. Dang, I told only 12 years though. It's like, but I appreciate that, right?
Right, take the pat on the back, good brother. We need that.
Then my staff at my spot having a 3-day appreciation party for me.
Okay.
They having a meet and greet. I hate that word because we know each other.
Right.
So why we can't call it a social?
Well,
right?
everybody know your name. Cheers, good brother.
So they giving me a social on January 12th or
The 12th.
the 12th.
Yes.
And then they giving me an appreciation dinner, a black and white tie affair
Right.
at the Gilbert's Ballroom.
Right.
And then we having a brunch that Sunday at Gilbert's Ballroom as well.
So you gonna be partying all night long once you kick in the new year.
I party like a rock star, man.
Okay, Little Wayne.
Like a rock star,
Okay,
baby.
Little Wayne, party like a rock star
You know
in
what
the
they
building.
said? I'm living the best life. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I just
Sure.
wanted to get that out. And if y'all not doing nothing today,
come through.
come on down to Hayes Lounge
Right.
for the happy hour, 5 o'clock. I might do it a little early because you know I'm hype on this Cowboys and Eagles. This is their Super Bowl today. 'Cause
Oh,
they,
my
They
goodness.
have to win. They have to win.
We had to win. You right.
So,
we gotta win.
This their Super Bowl today. So come on out. If you're not doing nothing, we cooking out. We cooking on the grill. Come on out. Just have some good fun with good people. Live, laugh, and love.
I love it. And that's the theme of Hayes Lounge. Live, laugh, and love. So, a shout out to our sponsors.
Shout out first and foremost Hayes Lounge,
Okay.
Stream by King, KC Electric, Pressure Inc., Beard Kings, and no other than Morty Mitten with Nav and Pierre.
Yeah, get your cup of Joe for the morning meeting.
Cup of
need that.
Joe.
Yeah, Java.
That's not MSNBC either.
Nah, not at all. It's better. We got a little bit more flavor than that. So we gonna jump right into our festivities, good brothers and sisters. And as usual, we gonna get into our focus part of the show. We're gonna give you the good brother quote of the day, but I need to get them
I definitely
let it marinate. Let it marinate.
float on. That's what they
Float
go.
on.
My name is Emmanuel Gemini.
There you go.
Take us back to 75,
Yeah,
man.
You like to take a little walks in the park in the rain. You know what I'm saying? There you go.
So can you give us the quote of the day?
We passing it off. That's the way to share. There you go. Rock it out.
Alright, well, today's quote of the day. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it the present.
That's deep.
Bar.
So I need you to break
Whoa.
that down for me.
It's
We're going
gonna-
to analyze
Right.
Hey,
it.
Q,
Let
break
the
that
poet,
down for me,
right?
Q.
Let the poet, you know what I mean, break it
The
down.
poet.
We're going to do it simple, though. You know,
Okay. So,
yesterday is history, so we can't dwell on yesterday because we can't change what happened.
Right.
I feel like we dwell on it, we're still going to be so stuck on what happened yesterday and not focus on the moment.
Okay.
Tomorrow's a mystery. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's why you say take a day at a time, appreciate like the connections, like especially when it comes to like losses. You
Yes.
never know who you're not going to see the next day.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's up to you to make the best of what's going on right now, so you can have a better entrance into the next day.
Ooh,
I
man.
like
A
that.
better
I like
entrance.
that.
Hey, you got to put that at the bar, man. I like that.
Coming
Man.
soon, say.
My man got a silky smooth linguistics out here, y'all.
I gotta give a shout out to a couple people. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
cut you
Oh,
off.
definitely. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
shout him out, man.
Stephanie Finley, what's going on, baby
What's going
girl?
on,
We
good
grew up
sister?
together.
Mhm.
Darius Daniel, what's going on, boy?
Shout out to
Keep
you,
that
good
hustle
brother.
going, baby.
Mhm.
Derek Wells, I know you're a Pittsburgh fan, but watch
Yeah.
these Cowboys today.
Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. Good.
Valeda, What's going on? What's going on? Randy, my main man, my brother from another New York City in the house watching us.
There we go.
Hey, I don't even know what fan you are, Randy. Oh, my father, James. And Carlos. Carlos,
What's going on, good brother, man?
Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You know what? I might smoke a cigar with you
Ooh,
today, Flash.
you hear this bull? He gonna need one.
Disrespect.
Listen, good brothers, he's definitely gonna need one.
All in there.
And a shot too, maybe a couple after today's
Might need to be a
festivities.
double.
You know what I mean? But it's okay, because this is what we do. We celebrate, we love, laugh, and enjoy life. That's what it's supposed to be. So, back to your breakdown.
I like what you said.
Right.
Interest.
The interest. Yeah, that's
I
real.
feel like if we so focused on like, just like especially like dwelling on negative energy,
Right.
it just gets in the way, hinders us from so much.
I agree.
And it's like it's the present. It's like
Yes.
it's a gift to be present.
And it's funny because you just took the words out of my mouth. See, once again, when people read minds on this show here, I was going to say what I got from the quote is it's a present, and pretty much what I mean by that is it's a gift to be able to wake up in the morning and know that you live to see another day. So guess what? Yesterday definitely is history. I'm not worried about yesterday because it done came and passed. And whatever problems that went on yesterday, we can kind of solve them for the next day. And there's no guarantee in the future, right?
But it doesn't always have to be a problem because yesterday
right.
can make you who you are today.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
So you
see,
gotta remember.
and that's how you change the way we think on Good Brother Talks. I said correctly, Good Brother E gave you a little bit of what we stand for on our platform. And change the way we think. So yesterday got to be a bad thing. It could be good things too.
Yeah.
But pretty much what I get from it that we got to appreciate the moment that we're in.
And the good thing, another thing, we gotta be blessed that we can see each other
Yes.
all the time we here.
Yes.
And we blessed that we woke up this morning.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
gift. That's the gift that we
Ooh,
woke up this
yes,
morning.
yes. There
But
you go.
yesterday makes us who we are today.
Right.
Right.
That's what we gotta do.
Nothing? Got any thoughts on that? Or you just like to drop the quote?
I was about to say, I just
Okay.
Booyah!
She put on the fire. Okay, we'll take that. All right, so that's your
that.
Good Brother quote of the day. Just know that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. And that was by A. Milne. And by the way, we don't want to steal anybody's hard work when they put up a quote. Maybe one day one of our quotes will be up there. We want somebody to, make sure they shout us out. So now we're going to go to the next part.
Hey, I still got that shirt for you too, Randy. Hayes Lounge, baby. I know your last name Hayes,
Yeah,
but
go
I
ahead
got
and
a
tag
shirt
them up.
for you.
Go ahead and tag them that free advertising.
But check this out, right? We going into the Good Brothers shout outs and small talk, and we do this because we recognize the good in our community.
Yes, we do.
But we
Yes.
turn negative into positive.
All day. Flip the game, baby.
So we always got to talk about the good that's going on in our community.
Yes.
So
My man gonna start us off, Marvy Marv.
Right, so we're going to give a shout out to the Chester Panthers, entire organization from the staff to the volunteers, and even most importantly, to the kids and all the young scholars, from the football players to the cheerleaders to the line, people that volunteer as managers on the squad. They had another successful football season. They went down for the Nationals in Florida. They came up a little bit short, but once again, you're in the championship. That's big. So Good Brother wants to salute to all of you for continuing to do what you do and shape the young men and women's lives that's out there participating with this organization.
And I want to give a shout out to us in 1946. I don't know if y'all knew this, and
Talk
I
to
know
us.
y'all don't know. Don't you know we had our own NFL? We had our own Black National Football League
No,
in
we didn't know that.
1946.
Okay, what's the name of the league?
And when I come back, I'm just doing a little research on
Okay.
it now.
To develop this story.
But at the same time, it's just like the Jackie Robinson story.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had our National Baseball Negro League, right?
Right.
They came, they said, damn, the leagues, the European leagues weren't making money, it wasn't exciting, it wasn't
Okay.
none of that. So what they did, they came and took our best players from the baseball league
Just like
and the football
Okay.
league. They took the best players, and then when they took our best players, then the game became, they had swag.
Okay. They had
So when the
swag. I
game
like
had
it. Okay.
swag, because back in the day, in the baseball league, they weren't running back like, Jackie Robinson was known for
Catching.
taking his ball and just running back and putting his hand up in there and catching the ball.
Showmanship.
Showmanship.
All
So
day.
they said, damn. Then they started making a lot of money from the showmanship. Remember, when we had the Negro League, the
Yes.
Barnes, it was called Barnstorming.
Barnstorming, right.
That was our stadiums. That
Yes.
was our stadiums. We made money. We didn't have to sit in the back. So they came, we keep trying to prove ourselves, saying we can play with them, we can do this, we can do that.
Do our own thing.
Guess what? We were so successful, they stole it from us under our eyes, right in front of our face, and we didn't even see it.
There you go.
So in 1946, we had our football league. They took the best players,
Mm-hmm.
and they took it to the National Football League, And that's when they start making billions of dollars. And that's when our league dissolved.
Became the funk, right?
So we have to be more aware. Stop
Yes.
trying to fit in, because we're
Yes.
already good at everything we do.
Yes, we are.
So stop trying to fit in and say I can do what y'all do. No.
I agree.
So when I finish my research on this, I'm gonna
Yes.
bring it back to y'all probably next
Please
week
do. We
when
need
we
that.
come
We
back.
need that. Yes. We
But
need that.
this is what we need to know as people.
And by the way, shout out to Miss Info. What's going on with you, Not Fatigue? Thanks for tuning in to Good Brother Talk. I'm going to steal the trademark. There you go. Throwing right back at you. I also want to give a shout out to Twyla Simpkins, who collect items in an attempt to preserve Chester history. And she created her first short movie titled Coming to Herself, the YMCA Chester story. And it was by the Yes We Can Achieve Center, which is also an organization that's headed by Miss Twyla. The movie was shown at the Lightbox Film Center in the International House on the University of Pennsylvania's campus with 8 other short movies created by various organizations. The backstory of the short film pretty much shows how long it survived as a place exclusively reserved for the white community only, and how it had fallen into near abandonment, and the efforts of Miss Simpkins' group have made it turn it back into a community center. So shout out to her for just pretty much loving her city and turning garbage into gold. That's a great landmark. It's big. The next shout out.
Shout out to Selma Burke. She drew a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. She was the person who drew a portrait, and then they eventually used it on the dime.
Okay, there you go.
But nobody knows about this.
Well, we
These
put
are
a
the
stamp
facts
on it
that we
today.
do. And we ain't about Black
It's
history.
far from that.
This is what we have to share with y'all on a daily basis.
And you're going to get it every time on Sundays. We're going to digest all this good information. And also, we're going to give a shout out to Marvel Comics, because speaking of diversity, they created their first ever Asian American superhero film called Shang-Chi. He's a superhero with no superpowers, just supreme mastery of his fighting skills. Marvel wants to match the movement around this year's Black Panther and last year's Wonder Woman, a film especially crafted for the Asian and Asian American community, who, let's be honest, when it comes to their movies that's Asian based, they have no representation.
Only
They call that appropriation.
Only in karate.
Only in karate. Hey, that's almost like a stereotype,
That's
right?
my book.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So, to finally have a representation of their race portraying a character that's from their descent. So I just want to give a shout out to
Well, they had
Marvel
the Green
for
Lantern.
Yeah. But
Remember that?
you
Bruce
know,
Lee
the
played
Green
that,
Hornet.
the Green Hornet.
Right.
Bruce Lee played that.
But we got to continue to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So Marvel, shout out to you, Stan Lee, rest in peace. But once again, they carry your mission full steam ahead. By the way, want to give a shout out to Wifey, what's going on? Parker, how y'all doing? Love to both of y'all.
And Just Lee, you're right? I'm going to come back with you on that also. The human race is one. You're right. It wasn't white, black, nothing. It was European, African Americans, and something else. It was 3 races. It didn't become until late 19-something when they started saying white, black, that created the division between races.
That's divisive nature, man.
I'm going to get back with you on that too, because I've been doing my research on a lot of stuff so we can bring some exciting stuff to y'all.
We're going to get the last. And guess what? We need your input, because guess what? You are the people, and we want to speak for the people to the people. So just remember, if you have anything good to share, please tag us up so we can put it on our show. So now, I think I need a special delivery, DJ Chuck, from yours truly. Oh,
Shake it like a show. Shake it like a show.
Go ahead, shake the day. Go ahead, shake the day. We just gonna get on the good brother word on these mean streets. Ouch. Yeah, that's right. Now I'm not gonna deliver you nothing but good news in a sense. I want to talk about quite a few things on the word on these mean streets with Marvy Marv. I'm gonna start with the first topic titled, I wanna be like Mike. And yes, we talking about Mike Jordan. So good brother, I'm gonna let you go ahead and run with this one, because this is something that, once again,
I don't condone.
Exactly. So let's wrap.
Now I was up this morning looking at the news, MSNBC.
Okay.
Seeing on Facebook. I forgot what city it was. Did you do some homework to see what city it was in?
I didn't check the city.
But anyway, the new Jordans, the 11
Concords, right. The AIs are called.
They came out. These people were waiting outside.
Yes.
Not these people, African Americans.
Our people.
A sneak that's made for $7.
$7. Sell for $1.80. Keep going.
A sneak that was made for $7.
Wow.
They trampled a couple people. A couple people got seriously hurt. people running in the store, leaving their own sneaks outside because they run in the store, stepping over people,
Yes.
grabbing them, the shoes coming off. Is it that serious? I need y'all input.
Absolutely.
It's not.
I need y'all input.
It's not.
But go ahead. You want to run with it? One of
Go
y'all?
ahead.
Go ahead. You got shots. You got shots.
You know, you always
never
put
run
up our
nobody
energy
down
anyway,
for
but that's materialistic. It should never be to the point where someone's health or like a risk of getting hurt.
Right.
Yes.
Possibly death, getting
Yeah,
hurt, or
yeah.
just for sneakers. To
That's
put on
real.
your feet.
But repeat that. The sneaks are only made for like $6 or $7.
Right.
No more than $8. And we're paying $200 and something dollars
Almost
for a sneak.
300%, man.
Yeah.
300% profit, man.
But for African Americans to stand outside the night before for a sneak that's made for $8,
And then act a fool.
it's sad
And then
because
act a fool.
we don't even we don't even show this much enthusiasm for
Education. Thank
Nope,
you.
nope,
And that's the point I was getting.
That's what I get upset about.
And
But I like to hear from y'all because it's more. I'm not gonna say just y'all generation because this guy's our age that's still.
Listen, our
waiting.
sneakerheads, please chime in. If you tune in to Good Brother Talking, you're a sneaker enthusiast, you're a sneakerhead, a so-called self-proclaimed sneakerhead. Please chime in with your thoughts. We would like to hear your insight.
And I talked to one of my old heads, right?
Mhm.
And he buys Jordans.
Mhm.
I understand the investment part.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he'll buy 3 pair, so then he'll put it on eBay and sell the 2. But so he's getting his technically for free.
Right. Right.
But to stand out there all night for sneaks and then y'all rushing, they only probably got 100 pair in the store.
Yeah, limited amount as it is. So
Right.
And you have
So the
2,500
demand
people outside.
It's a
Right.
demand
Right.
meet, overseas the
Right.
quantity that they have. So it's like
It's crazy.
It's
And mind you,
just
these
like
shoes.
you already know if you in a certain place in line, you know
Right.
you're not gonna get those.
You're not gonna get them.
that's
Well,
like going like
you're not
Black
getting
Friday and you stay.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, once again, I mean, you hype something up, get your advertising, get the people to come. Well, obviously, these shoes didn't come out for 11 years. Now, I had a pair when they first came out. I didn't spend $180 on them because inflation was different then. You
Right,
know,
right,
I
right.
spent actually $125. So the markup went up even more.
What?
But I'm gonna say this. Once that happened and everybody's there, I get you can stand in line, you like a kid, you know what I mean, on
Yeah,
Christmas
sure.
and whatnot. But here go where I have a problem. You have people
Talk heavy,
tripping
man.
over each other. That's the first thing that you mentioned. But also people throwing stuff and also leaving their sneakers in the store. They left their actual kicks in the store, not the new ones, but their old ones. So people had to clean up after them. Even during the interview, they asked one of the people that was in line. It was a parent. They asked, "Was it worth? After all this, what you just experienced, was it worth it?" She said, "You know what? For my kids, Christmas is worth anything." And now I get the passion that you have towards your kid, but once again, now let's say it would have went left and you would have got your behind trampled on. You know what I mean? Now kid not only not gonna have a present, they probably won't even have a mom. So that's where I have a problem with, because why are adults acting like little kids when it comes to these things? And when you throwing stuff in the store because you can't get them, you already know that it's a 50 chance that you might walk out with a pair of kicks, or you might be one of the unfortunate ones that don't get a pair. So, you know, once again, it just shine a lot of light on where our priorities are at. That's first and foremost. You know, you get a large following for stuff like this, and I did it justly. You said the product does have a strong fan base. That is the mystique that Jordan brings to the situation.
But
it's-
we're,
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say we're poor. I said we spend money different.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
we don't financially manage. We don't know how to manage financially.
No, and we got an article that we want to
We
talk
have to
about
have
on
the
here.
new stuff. We have to have
Yes.
we
The
flashy and everything else.
Yes.
So we rather look poor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we rather look
it's
rich.
like-
Uh-oh.
I had to correct that. I had to correct. We rather look rich
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and live not in poverty. I'm not gonna say
Beyond our
poverty,
means.
but beyond
Not
our
our
means.
means, right.
And we're struggling.
Yes.
Like whereas though other cultures
Once again,
embrace education,
all day.
do everything they can do
Mhm.
to become rich, and then buy stuff that's
They buy the company.
expensive.
They don't buy the stuff. They buy the company.
They buy the
Right,
company.
right.
Right.
They buy the block, y'all, pretty much.
You know why we support and buy those Jordans,
Go
right?
ahead, talk to me.
This is a black man sneaker.
Okay. I mean, and-
White man don't handle sneakers.
Jordans don't even wear Jordan
Listen,
though.
but-
Jordan don't wear Jordan.
I have one
Jor-
pair right
He
now.
wore them when he played
I'm
basketball.
not saying line though.
Jordan.
If you go online,
But this
right
is what
now-
this is what we do. The reason you like the Cowboys is because Michael Irvin was catching touchdowns and Emmitt Smith. Hold on, time out. It's not because you like the cowboy allure. It's because of the black faces that were in the helmets that were doing those spectacular things on the field.
Let me tell you what I like.
You don't watch soccer.
Yes, I do.
Pele.
Hold on. What team did he hold? Time out.
I don't care what team he played
No,
for.
see, this is
I
what I'm
just
saying.
knew
But
he
you
was-
can't do that, bro.
But,
because you like the
I like
Cowboys. Who is Beckham?
Beckham was
David Beckham.
David Beckham played soccer.
Posh
What team
Spice
did he
Elliott.
play for?
And
You
I
know,
like
na-
the-
see, hold
I know
on.
names.
But
I don't
see,
follow that like
but
that.
but you follow a team sport, right?
But
Soccer
guess
is
what?
a team sport. So if you like the Dallas Cowboys, and if you just like sports, then you should like the Arsenal, right? Or you should like the whatever team from wherever. I don't follow soccer, but I'm just saying, if these are your reasons for following the sport because you like the sport, then you would know the team. But because we're black and we need to relate to something, black people need to relate to shit. White people don't need to relate to nothing because they already own shit. We don't own anything. So you relate to the player. So when Michael Jordan comes out with a sneaker, you go rush out to buy that joint because it's a black man whose name is on the sneaker. That's
No.
bro. That's
culturally we do, not me, black player. Because I don't.
I think he's speaking.
I can't speak for you because you weren't in the line waiting for the sneakers.
Right.
I'm speaking for the people that getting that why they do it.
Of the game,
Right.
I just like the Cowboys. I can care less because I grew up.
Right.
Until we own a team, then I'll be a fan of the game.
You'll be fully vested.
But right now, I like the Cowboys. I can't name 10 players on the Cowboys. I'm be honest with you. I just like the Cowboys. I became a Cowboys fan in '78 when Hollywood Henderson was. You know why I like Hollywood Henderson?
Right.
Because he was talking trash.
Right.
He the only one I knew. He wasn't the only one,
Right.
but he was in the huddle snorting blow at the time.
Oh, man,
he was snorting blow like, man, I got it. I'm giving you an example. But he talked trash.
Yo.
It wasn't that I didn't like that
That was
about
a cocaine
I like
induced
Roger
trash.
Staubach because he brought the flea flicker in 1977 to the Cowboys. He brought the flea flicker out. You
All right.
feel me? But at the end of the day, I'm not a fan no more. I don't have a tattoo of the Cowboys. I got paraphernalia, but I don't go break my neck and buy paraphernalia no more because the NFL does not mean anything to me. It's just entertainment to me. And I just happen to say, okay, I'm a Cowboys fan.
But now I'm gonna
That's
say
it.
this, because of urban culture.
I don't do what Marv do.
What do I do?
He got
What do I do?
tattoos
I
at
ain't got
the
no. Excuse my friend. I ain't got no
I
damn
don't
tattoo
do that.
on my body. You know what I'm saying? I do have my name on my right arm. It's the only tattoo I got. But anyway, I told you my man was gonna be coming at me during the show, right? I prepared for that hook. But just knowing the urban culture, I mean, listen, we all want to be like Mike at some point, but it's still, we got to carry ourselves better. We got to do better, people. It's one thing to be excited over something that you cherish, even with sneakers, but it's another thing to kind of, once again, make a fool of yourself. And then for the whole world to see, because you know once we do, that's the first thing they're going to do, they're going to put it on the news. And they showing a bunch of us just trampling over each other. And that just adds to the negative perception that we already have. So I have nothing against people supporting if they like the sneaker.
Oh, I don't have that.
But I do have a problem with just the way we carry ourselves. And you know what? We got to be better at modeling our behavior because it's almost like, even as adults, you don't get your way, this is we going to turn up.
I just wish they become involved in education system a little bit more.
Well, guess
it's just
what?
like this. We clap and we announce, oh, Q got accepted to Harvard. Hey, Q, I'm happy for you. No, I'm not happy.
Uh-oh, time out. Time out.
What?
Time out.
Somebody
Miss Info
saying
asked you a question. How many pairs of shoes / sneakers do you own? Good
Just
brother?
a couple, player.
She said,
I got my workout sneaks that I wear, but they
I
not.
love you, I love you.
I mean, I got my workout sneaks that I wear, and that's it.
What's a
For the
couple?
most part, I wear shoes every day to work.
Hey, by the way, shout out to my good brother, Aaron. What's going on, Mook? How you living today? You know we gonna trash them Cowboys today.
And
you know
my
what I'm
sneaks
saying?
don't cost over $100. Any of my pair of sneaks don't cost over $100.
Hey, well, you are economical when it comes to
And Timberlands went up on that Timbs, and I get the.
You know what that mean, good brother?
Y'all know what the
Man, they did it fake.
Because I
they
can't.
Gazy.
They 220 now. They
The number going
220.
up,
They
right.
went from 120 when I was young
So now it's
to
220.
220.
Well,
They
'cause-
wasn't, because I got mine. I got a new pair like probably not a few months ago. And they wasn't no 220 either.
Your
Well,
foot
but
small.
you female too.
Women.
Right.
Yeah,
Men's,
but I
men's.
was about to say, but I buy mine in men's.
There you go.
I buy
Okay.
them boys.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as a culture,
Mhm.
we label
For sure.
junkies. And I mean, you can buy quality anything. I remember kids wearing Oshkosh.
Oshkosh the guys.
Gosh.
Right.
And now kids wearing
Man, now you wearing
tennis
Chanel,
cool, they
Versace,
wearing
Tommy Hilfiger.
Versace.
Gucci.
Janice said here, labels take over people, but they have no knowledge of their city, and sneakers are not a man's good look. I guess the more you mature, you start to step your game up. Hova said 30 is the new 20. I don't believe in that. I just think that 30 is 30.
But I like what Nafati said.
Present
See,
yourself.
But you only can wear one pair at a time. People want many pairs. I agree with
Right.
you.
Well-
Just like when I tell my young boys when they go to Williamson Trade School that I push all the time because it's free.
Mhm.
You only can have a pair of shoes and one pair of sneaks.
Mhm.
And they say, oh, I'm not going to that school because, first of all, there's no girls there.
You want
I
them
only
there.
can have one pair of shoes and one pair of sneaks.
Some people
I'm
got
not
none.
going there.
Some people got none.
But at the end of the day, I like that Nafati. Timberland does. Oh, well, yeah, y'all get me off track.
Right.
Nafati.
It's all good. Now, hey, that's why they call her Miss Info for that reason, because she give us good info here. And
But,
they do represent a hanging tree.
I
by
push
the way.
Williamson Trade School
Right.
because if you 18, you go there 3 years, you 21, you come out making $50,000 a year.
Yes.
Period.
Right.
It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. You come out as a supervisor or a foreman.
Right.
It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. They teach you how to run a company.
Right.
But at the end of the day, how many of our students willing to, because they so materialistic, how many of our children willing to wear a sports jacket, to wear a tie in the morning, to go to the chapel, say a prayer, and wear this to class every day? No, because we don't teach our kids. how
Well,
to
this
do
is
it.
the reason, because we segue right into the next article, which is called "Dollars Make Sense." And good brothers and sisters out there, should high schools be required to teach financial literacy?
Yes.
So come across this article, here goes some telling stats here. Americans are facing a record $13 trillion in debt. You heard it, $13 trillion. Yeah, I'm on my mini-me. Many say that in order to combat the debt crisis, financial education should start earlier, and high school should be required to teach personal finance to all students. So here goes some other stats. According to The Money, the average millennial household owes about $14,800 in student loans. Okay, and they said people of all ages are demonstrating a greater comfort with debt, meaning they just run up a bag. Hey, I just owe so much money, I could care less. As everyone becomes more comfortable with financing and credit, there's a greater risk that accumulated debt will never be paid off in full, which is so true. So we like to talk about that if I go
Hold on, yeah, because I'm listening to Janice, Nafati, not me, because I was talking about Williamson Trade School. So Nafati said not many because not enough parents push it.
Facts.
And Janice came back, yes, college is not for everyone, teaching showed them early. But Williamson Trade School is a trade school for electric, concrete, masonry,
Boilermakers.
Boilermakers, and all that type of stuff. It's like the union, but it's free. It
Right.
doesn't cost anything.
Just can't have any children.
I'm not telling kids to go to college. First of all, I'm only telling my kids in school to go to the 12th grade and do the best that you can do.
Figure it out.
A lot of kids don't embrace school, period, anymore.
Right.
They go to school to curse at a teacher, to beat a teacher up, to turn off on the lights in the hallways, to run the hallways. See, and parents don't even see that. But we could call the parents and tell them that.
All day. But they won't
But the
believe it.
parents
Some
don't
won't
believe it. They attack us first
Yes, they be
because
defensive, right.
if we put structure in the schools the way we do,
Right.
as soon as the child go home and say, Mr. E and Mr. Mark,
You
did
get
this,"
resistance. You
Now
got
the
resistance.
parent come up because the student said I hit him or I did something to him. But
Right.
I always tell the parent, thank you for coming. I'm glad you came, but I need your input a little
You
bit
gotta be
more.
tactful in your approach. And by the way, shout out to Sonny Bison and good sister Christina, boy,
And Miss
for
Renee
tuning in.
Williams.
You know what I mean? To the good brother talk. Please join in the conversation. So,
But yeah,
absolutely
Janice,
right,
school,
though.
I mean, college is not for everybody. We
It's
talk
not.
about this all the time. But we always have to have some type
Yes.
of plan or information seeking type of plan.
Right.
So whether it's a trade, whether it's college, or you still got to get certifications. Even for CNA, you still got to go get a C
All day.
certification.
Another reason why I gotta have a plan because younger people are taking on debt at a higher rate and paying it off at a lower rate. So I mean, once again, if you don't educate yourself on these things, this is the conundrum that you put yourself in.
And not only that, because this is a pet peeve as well.
Right,
And I don't know if you see this at y'all. Like you go in the workplace, I know you see going to companies and stuff. I work in the school, he work in the school. You don't know who the student
Right,
or
it's
who
hard
is
to
the
separate the
staff
student from
because
staff.
our people don't have professionalism anymore.
Right.
We don't know our history. We don't know none of that. We don't have no identity. Now we going into work, being on our phones all the time.
Right.
We disrespect the black supervisors.
Yes.
We disrespect the black directors.
Yes.
Because our job's supposed to be easy. Nah,
Not at all.
like I said, if you're a
That's
janitor,
raw fish.
if you're a janitor,
Right.
you're supposed to be the best janitor.
Right. Well, I think a lot of times we don't carry that mentality at the workplace because we become comfortable within the workplace that we're at. So once again, if you don't enforce it and you don't set the standards, guess what? The trickle down effect is you're gonna get a better product. So
Now, Rich Bly, he says something.
Rich Bly says, show your kids how much you make and what you budget for bills, mortgage, and food. That's how money management starts at home. And I agree, and that needs to be modeled because a lot of times it just go by the wayside. You know, when I was in school, I didn't get taught that.
Well, I can say my mom did say that one
Yeah.
day to me, but at the end of the day, because we get that check. Our
We gonna
parents
blow
bring-
it. We
When
gonna
we
blow
young, $500 is a lot.
You gonna blow it.
No, when
And
we
they
come
gonna-
home,
they
your
gonna
mom
take
used
some
to
of it,
go to
right.
the bank, come home with an envelope with the money in
They
it,
put some of it up.
and we swore that was a lot of money.
Right.
But until she broke it down, this is my electric bill, this is this
Right.
is this,
Well,
and
that's
she only
called
had
budgeting.
$20 left over.
Wow.
At
Keep
that
your
point,
money
I ain't want nothing for
expenses.
Christmas anymore.
Right. Well, peep this. It said requiring personal finance in high schools with the goal of establishing financial literacy in young people before they become independent is a logical first step. But I'm gonna also say just because you expose them to that doesn't necessarily mean that all of a sudden they're gonna be this guru or wizard. But when you put them into that environment where they're now thinking on those kind of patterns, oh, trust me when I say this, they're gonna appreciate the bang for the buck, especially the things that they work for.
And I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you something else. As a parent,
Mhm.
if you have kids early or in like your 30s, just think if you put $100 a month in the bank for that child until they're 18, 10 months out of a year, that's $1,000 a year. Instead of buying the Jordans, instead of buying the latest whatever, 5 game systems. By the time they're 18, now they got $18,000 something in the bank.
Start off doing something.
Guess what? Now you gave them a foundation. Now they're gonna appreciate the money. But if you just give them, you don't give them no foundation to stand on.
Right.
They don't know how to survive.
I agree. And shout out to good sister Deneen for tuning in to Good Brother Talk. Thanks for tuning in, good sister. And by the way, Tanya Mean Girl Tucker said you gotta make parents accountable. And this is her plan by making parents accountable. We as parents need to sit in the class with our bad ass kids. Yes, she said it. She said it loud, she said it proud. The teachers know, call me if my kids act up. And it says, make the parents sit with the kids. Your kid or kids cannot come back unless you sit with them for a day. Oh, listen, that would be
I like
awesome.
that.
And I'm gonna say this: some parents, they work. A lot of parents work where they don't have that time of the day to be able to do that, or they don't have the type of job where they can be flexible and say, you know what? Guess what?
But this is when my dad didn't live with us.
Talk to me.
If he was called up to school, or I have to leave work, I'm gonna bust your ass.
There you go. Well, the fear of that has changed because now you say I'm gonna bust your ass. Now some of these kids saying, well, I'm calling CYS.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell them
And my mom be right, look, I'll dial it for you.
By the time they get
Here's the
there,
number. Let me tell you what the number is.
and by the time they get there, trust me, you'll be needing CPR to kind of be revived. I'm
They
just
gonna
saying.
say,
Not that we
"Right."
want to listen. We don't endorse abusing kids because that's not what it is. And Adrian Peterson caught a lot of flack
That's
for
not
that.
abuse.
But
That's
guess what?
correct.
Guess what, good brothers and sisters? That's just discipline. I'm not even calling it tough love. It's just discipline. Because at the end of the day, with the world they going into, if you don't discipline them early, you're only going to create a monster later on. And then you over there talking about, please help my kid. Well, it's too late because you didn't do nothing when they were in their formative years. So that all goes to this thing with finance, teaching finance in the schools. They said only 7 states have required standardized testing on personal finance since 2016. So as you see, it's not important. 7 states out of all states that's in the United States, only 7 require standardized tests. And studies goes against this theory and states that even if taught in schools, financial literacy wouldn't be effective in the real world. So we're just gonna leave that up for debate. Once again, I mean, this is something that's plaguing us across the board, and at some point, maybe these parents will be more accountable and take a vested interest in the kids' lives. And if they can make it to the school, like you said, brother, when you come home, you best believe you're gonna answer to this right here.
I just think more parents need to sit back and really ask yourself as a parent, where am I today in life? Where am I at today in life?
Uh-huh.
Why am I on Section 8? And nothing wrong with Section 8 if
No,
you're
it's not.
using it as a stepping stone.
Right. That's what's
Ask
made for.
yourself where I'm at. Did I take school serious?
Do I want my kids to take school serious? Do I want better for my kids? All you want is your child to graduate from 12th grade.
Right.
By the time they're 18, they're going to know what they want to do.
Exactly.
Whether they want to go to college, whether they want to take a trade, whether they're going to work for the union hall, or whether they're going to start working in a nursing home.
Right.
Either or. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself as the individual first, where am I at in my life?
Well, they got to answer that question for you because Rich Blind said, that's a young example, but now he's going to give you a little bit older example. He exposed his children to these practices. But I also grew up in a different era. My family are, let's run down the checklist, homeowners, because that what was established. And the home structure was broken, and what is allowed is what is lost. So, once again, depending on your lifestyle and where you at, like you said, headspace, if you are the type of person that's on top of your thing, when you have your kid looking up to you, you're going to make sure to sit that kid down because you don't want to continue to raise that kid as a kid even when they become a young man or a woman. You want to show them things so they're able to be able to walk out there on their own and make decisions, sound decisions, and don't get too much behind the 8 ball because honestly, good brothers and sisters, we're way behind the 8 ball the way the system is set up. So as long as we continue to feed these type of things and don't feed our brains the right things, I mean, it's going to be a downward spiral, and we're descending at a meteoric pace. Understand that.
But this is what's up, Mook? What's up, Nate? Shout out to Nate Jessup and what's up, Mook? What's going on?
The thing about it though is the fact that even if we don't put things like financial education in the schools, take that in the household. Like when I was growing up, my grandmother, my parents, they made sure I knew how to balance a checkbook. Before you had mobile banking and all that
They
stuff.
do all that for you.
They do all that for you.
It dumbs you down.
What happens when the system goes down?
Guess what?
And
You need to be able to know
You're
how
going to
to
be blank.
right.
You're going to be ish out of luck.
Like,
Well, not only did you balance a checkbook, you know how to write a signature.
Yes,
Our
and
kids
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
what a
talking
signature
because
is.
cursive is real, and that once again goes to financial literacy because you can't sign a document unless you put a signature. You can't print your name. That's 101 right there.
He deposited a check without that signature.
Shout out to good brother
That's why
Reed.
they had that
What's going on, good brother?
Somebody
Thanks for
check.
tuning in to Good Brother
What's up,
Talk.
Kareem?
So now we're going to set, we're going to put that to bed. And you're right, Mook. It definitely starts at home. So we're going to challenge all of you. Listen, stop looking at this and do more of interacting with your kids so they can learn these things.
Especially they have so many
Kick
apps
them
on your
off those
phone too. If you
games.
do want to use your phone, they have so many access to like budgeting tools.
Yes.
a lot of banks, they have a lot of things for kids to learn how to actually be financially literate.
Right.
Like they have a lot of games
Lot of
and things that
basics,
make it
yeah.
interactive for children even when they're younger.
As much as finance doesn't sound the greatest or like most fun thing to do, it's
It's
necessary.
necessary.
important to
It's a
know.
necessary evil.
Yeah.
We know
Especially
money's the
like-
root to all evil, but it's a necessary evil because the world thrives and survive off of the almighty grace.
Hey, Mike, what's up, baby? I know you waiting for that Cowboys
Yeah,
game.
yeah, no, we ain't shout out no Cowboys fan, right? That's what we said, you know what I'm saying? So now we going to jump off the financial literacy train, and we going to jump into the next article titled, The Quack Doctors. Okay, and called the Quack Doctors because this is something that's also big in the school system, how childhood trauma could be mistaken for ADHD.
But listen.
Right, so let's talk about that.
We grew up in a community where we are desensitized to a lot of things.
Right.
We hear the gunshots.
Mhm.
We see that. We see fighting all day. We see trash. We see everything. We see addiction walking up and down the street.
Yes.
We see this like it's a norm.
Right.
So people will say this is PST, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, PTSD.
People don't even see this. This is what our kids go through.
Yes.
We have it. I don't care what y'all say. We have it.
Yeah.
But it's not a form of ADHD.
But you know why, E?
Talk to me, baby.
Because we became desensitized to those norms. You know what I mean? Where you can see somebody going through addiction and literally walk by them like they just normal. Or you walk past somebody that might be going through some stuff at home and they're acting out. I mean, once again, that's our norm. We don't flinch. But now, going into the school system, this is where it has been misdiagnosed because some of these effects, the people that's diagnosing the kids, they
live
never
like
walk.
us.
I repeat, they have not walked a step in our shoes to even understand that. So, okay, if this kid is a little bit skittish It could be a reason behind that. Maybe the kid was getting abused. You know, that's one thing. Maybe the kid then saw something firsthand and it triggered that flashback. It doesn't mean you have to diagnose a kid with ADHD. Dr. Nicole Brown had a quest because she wanted to understand her misbehaving pediatric patients. She started this with a hunch. She realized that many of her low-income patients have been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. These children lived in, like you said, lived in households and neighborhoods where violence and relentless stress prevailed. Their parents found them hard to manage, and teachers described them as disruptive or inattentive. These are classic symptoms of ADHD. So before I go any further, let's sit on that one piece right there, where they already prefaced it. They said the children live in households and neighborhoods where violence and relentless stress is prevailed, and even the parents found it hard to manage. So by the time they get to the school, you have the teachers describing this as disruptive or inattentive. Now you tell me in your own words, how insensitive is that?
It's very insensitive.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we have, I don't care what culture you come from,
Right.
you have some kids with more energy than others.
Right. All day.
I had a lot of energy. I wasn't labeled ADHD or ADD at that time,
Mm-hmm.
but I still had a lot of energy. I think right now I could be talking to you at this time, boom, 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 and then go to another subject. So,
Right. So you got ADHD.
so that's ADHD. Now
Right.
my focus.
It's
So that's
easy,
ADHD.
though. That's
But-
why it's easy to automatically just label it.
Right.
And just
Yeah.
put a stamp
And
on
it's
it
money.
and push
It's
it.
money.
It's money.
Yes.
Right.
The pharma industry,
Yeah,
it has
pharmaceutical.
blown up like Hiroshima. I'm gonna say it again, it's blown up like Hiroshima to the point that now in the typical classroom you have more kids that's been diagnosed with either ADD or ADHD, and we all know that it's not true. And because this kid is a little bit active than normal does not mean they have a disorder.
So if you have a child, like say you know how we were when we were young.
Right. Yes.
I sit in back of a young lady, pull her hair.
Yep.
We have a European teacher in the classroom.
Mhm.
Oh, he pulled her hair. Say you the teacher, African American teacher.
Okay.
I pulled the young lady hair. Raheem, come on, stop. Sit
Yes.
down or move his seat.
It's a bias.
You know.
It's a bias. I like
So-
how you set that up.
It's just culturally aware. We got to be culturally
Yes.
aware, and we have to help the European teachers that's coming in. We have to help them to learn our culture as well.
Right.
Because remember, they only 21, 23 coming into our school
right.
system, and they teaching the same history that they were taught when they were in school.
Right. It's repeating itself.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So when they hear and they seeing, for far as the media also, because they could describe me and you.
Any way they
Like
want.
the boy who in Alabama was it Texas, Alabama? He was a
Alabama.
security guard. The media automatically, oh, he had records back then or whatever. He was in police academy.
Right.
So, but the white guy, the European guy on City Line Avenue, they had a gang of guys selling drugs and everything, filtrated to school.
Mhm.
Oh, these guys, they were this, they were,
Right.
and they put their face on
So
in
it's
front
always
of everybody.
perspective.
They had a suit and tie on when they put their mug shots up. Their mug shots is from previous. Oh, he came from a broken home. He did this. They talk dirty, so the mass is hearing this about us. So they already, when you hear it over and over, like Donald Trump and Hitler said, you say it more than 3 times, people won't believe it.
Oh, yeah, that's how you brainwash them. And I'm gonna say this: I'm gonna give Dr. Brown kudos for at least going a step and try to understand, because she looked closely and she saw something else. Trauma outside of the ADHD. She saw trauma. Hypervigilance and disassociation, for example, could be mistaken for inattention, which happens so much in schools. Here go a quote: despite our best efforts in referring them to behavioral therapy and starting them on stimulants, it was hard to get the symptoms under control. This is the kids that she was treating for the guidelines for ADHD. So now Brown and other researchers are drawing attention to a compelling possibility. Inattentive, hyperactive, and impulsive behavior may in fact mirror the effects of adversity, and many pediatricians, psychiatrists, and psychologists don't know how or don't have the time to tell the difference. It's easy just to say, dope that kid up.
Or don't have
Bottom line, that's what they're doing.
And most of the
Dope that
medication
kid up.
has hair on it.
Right.
So do you think the problem is we don't have enough black teachers?
Or
we
black
don't-
doctors.
Or we don't have enough black doctors?
It goes
Is
hand
it-
in hand.
so you think we have to take the time to teach them how to look at us properly, or do we have to?
It's sad. It's a great
You said
question
that
to
that
ask.
way.
It's sad that you asked that.
Can you let my man finish his statement, please?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, John.
I would like to hear the whole
My
statement.
bad. I had a brain for it. Rock out.
Again, do you think it's our responsibility to raise up the kids in the neighborhood to be doctors, to be teachers, so that now they have a wider view of it, as opposed to teaching these teachers that are already in there to understand us or to relate to us. If I'm going in there and I'm asking someone who has never grown up around black people to relate to black people, you know how long it's going to take her to get to that point? If she ever gets to that point.
Right.
Wouldn't it be easier to teach the kids that are coming up in high school now and give them this love either for science or for teaching, just like it is in every other community? Wouldn't that be easier than to say, all right, white lady, listen, black kids do this like this, and this is why they do it like this. Little Raheem is gonna be over here messing with Shanika because he likes Shanika, and she smell exceptionally good today. She smell like cocoa butter. He don't understand what the problem is. Her mom put it all on her face. He don't know why every time she walk by, he think about candy. Like, and no, he gotta pull her hair. You know what I mean? So relate to that, Miss whatever your name is, or kids, listen, to teach your community better, y'all have to become a part of the solution. You know what I mean? So what are we supposed to do?
Like I always said, when KKK was out, they were hoods. They got smart. What did they do? They became cops. They became lawyers. They became judges. They became everything. Our kids don't know what a career is. Our kids don't know what an occupation
Why
is.
is that?
Because we don't teach that. All they know is I want to be a basketball star, I want to be a rapper, I want to be some type of entertainer.
Why is that?
Because they don't see the hard work that goes in between all this.
Right.
True.
They just
True.
see,
True.
I could be a football star, I'm going to make millions. They don't see Adrian Peterson when he was
Struggling.
practicing.
Right,
and struggling.
right,
They
right.
didn't see Michael Jordan
The sacrifice.
and Kobe
The
sacrifice.
sacrifices that were made.
All
Hours
they
on
know,
countless hours.
man, I go on the court, I do this little fade away,
Yeah,
they
that's
gonna look
simple.
at me, but I'm gonna make millions real quick.
ain't that
They
simple.
don't know that
That
if
it
you
takes-
become this neurosurgeon,
Right.
you become this judge, you don't have to make millions
No.
to be comfortable.
But those are the,
Right.
again, those are the things that are paraded in front of our children.
on
Right.
TV and
The
everything.
like I said again, it goes back to the Jordan situation, right? These are the faces that you see.
Right.
You see Carmelo, you see Kobe. You don't see the black neurosurgeon.
Right. They're not
He
gonna
doesn't come
profile
back into the community. You feel me? You don't see the black lawyer. He don't go back into the high school and give this to the kids, because these are the kids that need it. I'm sure you all have it for this. A couple white doctors coming through there at least once a school year to talk to the kids.
Or they're alumni and they give back.
They give back.
give
so
back,
so
and
when
they
you
still
don't
give
have
the community.
those examples,
Right.
you get what you get. You
But
get the
these are why-
football.
Go ahead.
You get the football stars, the kids that want to be football stars. Also, I believe that whole saying, "You can be whatever you want,"
Right.
is what plagues us, because them Indian families don't believe that. You go over to Crows right now, you're gonna see a bunch of Patels in there. They all last
Patels.
name
The
Patel.
last name
Every
Patels.
last one. They
Every
all.
doctor.
But guess what? They not related though.
Right.
But that's just their
That's
name.
just
But
their name.
their mom said, "Listen, we come to this
You gonna
country,
be a doctor."
we struggle. You're gonna be a doctor.
embedded.
There is no
Right.
if, there is no
There you
ifs,
go.
ands, buts, or no. You don't get to choose what you want to do. We have this whole freedom of, we want to be free so bad, so bad that we give our kids this inclination that they could be free thinkers. Just go ahead and be whatever you want to be." And he sits right there on the porch and says, "I ain't gotta do nothing till later on. I just work at Wawa. Like I'm good." And we try to figure out, well, why you don't want anything? Well, you said I could be whatever I wanted to be. You gave me no direction. Children want direction. They crave
Always,
direction.
always.
They crave correction. When we don't give it to them, we just label them as bad. We just label them as
And they're
AD.
not even bad.
But this
No,
is what I
they're
said,
not.
that system works is counterproductive to what we should be trying to do,
Well,
right? I should be directing you here, not telling you to go anywhere, and then somebody says, he can't stay inside the line because he needs this pill. Give him this pill. Well, that pill takes him even further off of the line. Now he's addicted to popping pills, and now he runs in.
But if you see, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the crazy thing about it is, depending on which side of the line you live on, if it's African Americans, black community, we have ADHD, we're a problem, it's an issue in class,
Right,
it's
right.
that next thing. But then if you go on the other side where you have Caucasians and they get into some type of trouble, it's because
And then they have all the
they
strategies in the
Right.
world.
and it's all the strategies. It's like it's
Yeah.
it's an
biased.
excuse. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's an excuse, but then it's a reason. It's two different depending on what side
Like a
you're
way to
on. you're on.
justify.
Yeah, because if you're rich,
Mhm.
it's because you're affluent, you weren't exposed to that. Like the boy that stole his dad's truck. He hit 4 different people, killed a couple. and then they say he didn't go to jail. He's affluent. He didn't know right from wrong. Then the other white guy in Chicago, the one to be in the gang, he followed them. They committed murder, but he got off because he was watching TV too much. He wanted to be a part of that, but he didn't know.
Right.
So yes, I mean it's all crazy out here, but at the end of the day, we as a community, like Pierre, like I like what he was saying, we have to really teach our kids. No, if you identify them good as in music,
Right.
playing the trumpet,
Push
that.
Push it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
If
There's
you
nothing
see
wrong
your
with that.
kid's good, his hands are good with he's good with his hands, or she's good with her hands. If she want to be a mechanic, if she working on cars, and you see them playing with cars and working on cars, push that.
Right.
Right.
But don't say, I like what you said. Now I gotta live by that. You can be anything you want to be. Now I gotta cut that short.
Right.
So we have to give them direction.
And this is kind of piggyback on what you said when you were saying, do you tell a teacher this how you handle our kind, where you go to the kids and say this? First of all, that right there, the way you preface that to me is all wrong, because no other culture gotta go through that. So once again, I mean, we're not going to give that to the outside. If anything, let's build up ours.
Right. Take on
And just continue to try to insulate them from all the potholes that they're going to be running into on this journey called life.
Do you know 75% of the teachers are women?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you got 25% man right here.
So why in their partnership, their principal, vice principal, assistant principal are all men.
Okay.
And I find that to be like strange almost. But you see the change in the way the young men in the school behave, and also the young women. You know what I mean? Last year around this time, the boys was in there going crazy.
Right.
Now it's a man in there in the front of the school when they start off,
It's
like
different.
that authoritative position. Like
That means something.
the kids walking in, they walk straight into school, they go right to their class. Yeah, I'm like, wow, last year these little motherfuckers, the little boys running around. Like, I'm not saying, see, women are nurturers, right? So they're supposed to be educators, right? But with the principal position, I just always thought it was supposed to be a man. Not to say a woman can't do it,
They can.
but maybe not as effective when dealing with the young men. So now, if you got a female principal, now you need a climate control officer.
Right. They got
You
that.
know what I mean?
They got
Now,
that
but
position,
that's
yeah.
what position. Not say again. People going to say, "Oh, what you trying to say? A woman can't be principal." I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're dealing with a certain select group of kids, that you need that figure in their life, because a lot of them are missing it and craving. You know what I mean? They miss it and they crave it. So if we constantly give them the things that they already have, it's an excess of that. It's not solving any of the problems. You feel me? If you're hungry and you got water and I keep giving you water, that's not, you're still hungry.
Right.
So if you have a mom at home and she caters to you, I don't need to give you a female principal, because she's gonna cater to you too. So you want to break the rules because you want a man to come in and say, "Yo, sit down."
That's what they want.
Yes, sir.
But you're right.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when I walk into my boys' classes,
Everybody freeze.
Everybody.
Mr. E, don't make Mr. E mean. And it ain't about being mean. They say I'm mean because I give them structure. But then at the end of the day, I do say, "Yo, I love you."
Right.
And then they say, "Mr. E, no homo." I said,
Oh,
"Yo,
good,
I
brother.
said-
This guy just
No,
said it
I'm
all the
not saying
time.
no.
Tell the kids
I don't say no
Listen,
homo.
I'm just
You don't
messing.
need to.
I'm just
I don't.
messing.
I'm saying I don't say no homo
I'm talking
because
about the love
I'm
part.
secure with my
Right,
man.
right.
I have
As
to
you
tell
should be.
them, look, we should be able to tell each other we love each other.
Right.
They not used to hearing that on
Right.
a daily basis, because we got to be so tough. When we water the lawn, we got to water it like we tough.
Right. Yeah, you got to
know?
go with attitude.
Yeah.
Water with attitude.
We like,
WWA.
yeah,
Coming to you,
serious.
to get in there.
But-
By the way, shout out to my man, Good Brother. Yes, God, thanks for tuning into Good Brother Talk. And you got a show on Mondays and Thursdays. Please check him out at 5 o'clock. But also,
dress is
Norman,
dress it.
he dropped a hell of a pearl. And he says, on point with exclamations. We need to give them more options to be taught, more professionals to be brought to our schools. We need to invest in black operated companies, not predominantly white companies that only want to take money and not do what's best for the children of the community. 100% stand behind you on that. Yeah, and you know what? We guys, once again, stop talking and start doing. Here go another telling stat when it comes to this here.
Dean of students.
65,000 children were analyzed on this survey, and Dr. Brown found that the children diagnosed with ADHD also experienced markedly higher levels of poverty, divorce, violence, and family substance abuse. Those who endure 4 or more adverse childhood events were 3 times more likely to use ADHD medication. Make you go, because they wasn't taking that in the first place. So once again, not understanding the culture, you know, and trying to appease, like I say, appease to the masses. This is what they do to get you to fall in line.
So would you say a teacher when looking at a child?
Yes.
I got 4 students in front of me.
Yes.
She likes to tap on the desk, you know what I mean? But when we do art, like she's involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? As a teacher, should I be able to diagnose what a child is good? No, listen, what a child is good at. You feel me? Because everybody's not the same. You take in information, everybody in here takes in different information differently. You know, you're not gonna take it in the same way. So, but I know when we do art and we have a home ec class, she's involved. So that would say that she's handsy. You know what I mean? She's not she's hands on. So she has to do something that requires her to be involved with whatever she's learning.
Gotcha.
You can take the information in. You like to read. You know what I mean? So if I give you a book and say, yo, break this down. What does this mean? You comprehend it. You understand it. You know, you like to write. You know, everybody's different. And if a teacher doesn't have that empathy to look at a child and say, all right, these kids learn differently. I know it's hard. You got 32 kids in your classroom. So it's hard for you to get a grasp. By the time you get a grasp on all 32 kids, the school year is over.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? So can you pass the information on to the next teacher? Next teacher don't care because she's still trying to process from the 32 kids that she had. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put the burden strictly on the teachers. I'm going to say it's the system that our children are put into.
First of all, schools hasn't changed for years. School's been the same for years. Now, cell phones change every day. Why we can't change the school system?
The thing is, though, like, that's something that teachers should automatically know.
Right.
Everybody learns differently.
Right.
When they were learning how to teach, they didn't learn the same way. They were taught. Like my sister, she went to school for education. She was taught how to do things like arts and crafts and different ways to teach. They're taught that. But then once they get into the school system, it's basically, it becomes a point where it's just get them through the HESPAs, get them through SATs, get them through all of those things. And it's just teach by the book, get it done, get them that A or that B, and get them out.
So should we?
Without them knowing the content before.
Because I think New Jersey is trying to get rid of them taking the standardized testing.
The parents can sign them. The parents can say, "I don't want my kids in." But then they, like she was saying,
the parent can say, "I don't want my kids to take it."
You can, yes.
But with the end of the day, we have to learn how the kids learn.
Right.
We can't teach them the way we want to teach
Absolutely.
them. And that's where we losing them at.
Right.
And we don't listen to our kids today. We had a fire drill the other day, and I got so upset. It was this one Indian guy, little student, came out crying because he couldn't take
The noise.
Right.
Now, if you already identify that, wouldn't somebody go to that classroom and say,
They say here, put these
Yeah.
earbuds on.
or take them outside early,
Right.
so you don't have to.
Right, so we can watch it.
Right.
It's interventions. I mean,
Right.
interventions that you
Right.
can use
Absolutely.
already.
It's called
Why
proactive.
wait?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Proactive.
final go. Now you have to carry him because he can't. Well, he's stuck. in
Right,
his
he's stuck.
prime.
Right.
That's a sad sight.
And he's traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So to close this all out on the topic of ADHD, which is also a hot topic, especially in our community. We love our kids. You should be passionate because once they teach you to the test and everything else, and a lot of these teachers out here don't have empathy for our kids. Let's be honest. But it says here, when speaking to traumatized children inappropriately diagnosed with ADHD, the body's stress system developed long ago in response to life or death threats like a predatory tiger. So the part of the brain that controls impulses, for example, shuts off so that survival instincts can prevail. So what does that look like when you put that kid in the classroom? Well, when people don't understand there's been a tiger in your life, it looks a lot like ADHD, so pretty much. So self-preservation always kicks in when you deal with these type of situations. So once again, it is a hot button topic with ADHD being misdiagnosed and teachers who have no empathy or passing it down, and it is a problem that's speaking loud and clear.
I don't get paid enough to care.
Hopefully in the foreseeable future that does turn around because we do get tired of seeing kids being misdiagnosed.
We get tired of kids. We get tired of people who want to be in control of
Yes.
our kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
I
about
like how
that
you put
control.
Put
It's
in
not
control.
about, oh, you supposed to be an assembly line.
Right.
That's how they teach. That's how they want the schools to be.
Right.
No, everybody's different.
So how do you get more parents to be involved in the schools?
Well,
I think
we
that'll
working on
help.
that. My brother's doing a
I
dissertation
think that
on
helps.
right now.
Because I think it works. Because parents work. throughout
Yes.
the week. So if you have a meeting, a PTA meeting on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock, like 9 times out of 10 in this area, most parents are working overnight.
Right.
They don't all have 9 to 5, so their schedules change. They
Right.
might got a
Okay,
part-time
so,
job.
right.
They might got a part-time, so they can't make it. So you try to find that day that works.
You know what we can do? And we
Sunday
can
morning,
do-
Sunday morning breakfast for the kids.
We can do Sunday, or we can visit their homes after school. We can
Everybody
go
wants
to
you.
their homes.
Everybody wants you in their house, bro.
Right. Some people
Some
don't.
people don't.
Everybody
But
wants
some
to be in
people,
their house, bro.
trust me, as I've been going out to my parents' homes,
Right.
they like it. And
Right.
don't try to talk over them.
Oh, they do it down
Don't talk
Delaware.
to them.
They do it down
I
Delaware. They
go
come
and I
straight to your
call,
house.
can I come over, or can I meet you somewhere? I take them to lunch. I do whatever I gotta do so we can make the kids successful
guess
in
what?
the community as well as home. And
Because
now
you
we got
have
a
a lot
couple
of-
things.
You have a lot of empathy, which is lacking. You already know across the board when a lot of teachers, staff, or anybody works in the school. Kudos to people like us that have that kind of empathy that will go above and beyond just for the betterment of that kid and put them in a better position to believe that they can succeed and be something. To
Richard
close this
Blige.
out, Rich Blige said something that's awesome that I totally agree with. Just an opinion. If you include diversity into the classroom, you can understand why the differences between our culture and curriculum is so watered down. You know what? I'm just gonna drop the mic on that because that's a real bar, good brother. We stand behind you on that. That's real. So hopefully this does change.
Hold on, Norman Bonaparte says something. I used to work in the district 12 years, all special ed, young teachers, only there to get their loans forgiven.
Yep.
The curriculum changes too frequently. Kids get lost in the changes. You teach one way at the beginning of the year, the next year is something different.
More
It's
confused.
too much confusion.
Yeah.
But it's right because it's not consistent.
Right.
Especially in classrooms, like I had when I was at DCCC, we had an economics teacher. In the middle of that teacher, they end up switching like a professor. So it was like, especially when you're in the beginning of the school, you observe your students, you develop that relationship, and especially like the teaching approaches. So if someone comes in and totally has a different strategy from someone who was there prior, it kind of makes you
You start to panic.
yeah, and it's
Anxiety
sometimes
takes
it's hard
over.
to adjust to that, like adapt to that adjustment, and that takes a lot of time. And so you have to build the process over again.
Yeah.
So
And
just
one thing, like, is one thing that I felt, even coming, because I went to a technical school, so I learned a trade and everything else for high school and all that stuff, and then it became even more of an issue because the sending district that I was supposed to go to, those students that graduated, they were way more prepared for college than I was. When I got to college, I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, that was going on.
I don't know what you just called me or
Right.
said. Like, I don't like
Like,
no.
what
So there is definitely, even when you're transferring from high school into college or whether it's middle school, there is a break in all education, and it's not translating for the students.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see.
Tanya Mean Girl Tucker.
So we're gonna close this out with a quote from Tanya Mean Girl Tucker. She said the PTA at Chester Community Charter used to give free stuff out. We had more parents for free items than just come see what is going on in your child's school. So I mean that's
Well, I can help you out with that. Today, you got to think about it in urban communities, and not just urban communities. Schools are modern day babysitters.
Yeah.
Bottom line. I want to get you out. They get mad because we get ready to have a snowstorm, and if it doesn't snow, but the news saying we get ready to have a snowstorm.
right.
But because we dismissing early, and it doesn't snow, the parents get mad. Oh, they got another day off. No, we're just being safe and being cautious. But it's just a modern day babysitter.
So now we're gonna close the modern day babysitter. We're gonna get into some of this grown folk stuff here. So in this next article on the docket, we titled it "Brrr, Stick 'em." Ha ha ha, stick 'em.
Oh.
I took it back and down the beatbox, typical brother and sister. So, in this deal with, I'm sure y'all wondering why I just do the brrr sound. No, I'm not the guy from the Meek Mill's album. And well, no, I'm saying it used to be a rap group that used that. And pretty much this deal with male birth control. The male birth control shot is now available. You heard me, the male birth control shot. So for the most part, birth control has only been really exclusive to women with the exception of condoms. Can we all agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And we know that birth control is very important as it helps prevent pregnancy, most importantly. It also can help prevent STDs, depending on the type of birth control you use, right? However, until just recently, birth control has been mostly for women now, there's a birth control shot that has been successful in decreasing a man's sperm count and has had a
Where that
success
shot
rate
at?
of 96%.
Where
Yeah,
is
get
that
your
shot?
shot. Come get it, good brothers. You need it.
No, that's serious. That's
Yo,
for real.
That's real. We put this in there. This is real.
When we do stuff, man,
right.
we talk about, we do research first.
So here goes some of the research before good brothers out there. Before y'all line up the coffers, because I know this whole thing about raw and all that is
Yes.
real and raw and uncut.
Yeah, baby,
You gotta protect your neck.
Yes, sir.
So before that, let me tell you some of the side effects.
Or before you say I'm going on the crap table, I'm putting my stuff on the
Do
crap
not
table.
throw it right, because you can roll snake
That's
eyes
what
without
my
Willie,
boys,
baby.
some of my people, I hear
Right.
boys saying, I'm throwing my stuff on the crap table.
Hey, right.
It's real. So some of the
You
side
gotta be
effects.
selective. But go ahead.
Here some of the side effects that occur from the male birth control shot include mood swings, depression, and muscle pain.
That's everything.
Also, some men also experience a
That's
higher
life.
sex drive.
That's life.
And some had
Say,
acne.
y'all
So
heard
I mean, this is
That's
on the
life.
same line as Viagra.
Yes.
Okay.
Acne.
Did
Oh,
you ever? You
No. I am vibrant. I am vibrant.
saying,
Oh,
you
you
said-
see that? Oh, hey, I'm vibrant.
I'm
You
saying-
sure
We
you're not talking
good.
about steroids?
We are
Right.
good.
Steroids.
right. You get all that
can't
stuff.
have kids either.
That's why Uncle Chuck
No,
got
hold
Hold on,
acne.
that's why he.
We got to
Hey,
develop the story
Hey, you
here.
gonna stop that?
We got to break his news story here, man.
I ain't in this.
I mean, our DJ's favorite DJ's in the confessional booth right now. You know what I'm saying? Let us find that out. So,
Hold on. Did it say erectile dysfunction?
we gonna get
Is
it.
that ED?
So,
Yeah.
Emotionally
Yes.
disturbed, erectile dysfunction.
Both. Go.
Now,
Because if you're emotionally disturbed,
I'm
you-
gonna give you my opinion on that.
Go ahead.
Erectile dysfunction.
Go ahead, talk.
My opinion on that. If you've been with somebody 30 years,
Uh-huh.
do you really think you're
It's a
gonna feel the
function.
same? It's not a dysfunction.
Yes, you will.
okay.
I can't.
I mean, it's all opinions. It's all opinions.
Depends
It's
on
depends.
like I
depends
said.
on what
If you
assets.
start at 21, if you had your high school sweetheart 21,
Right.
and you've been with her since to 45,
Right.
Where's the mojo?
So
You
45.
ask me where's the mojo?
you think the sex is going to be the same? My good brother, my Jesse Jackson. I don't
Hold on.
I ain't got that.
Hold on.
laugh.
Since you asked me in your Jesse Jackson voice, I'm gonna answer
Go
you
answer it.
in my Jesse Jackson voice. I believe that when you are with someone, that there is no time passing where you do not want to come. You are a man, and you have to use what you have before you lose it. See, regardless of who you're with, one day it's not going to work anymore. I think that's why we move the way we do from 13 to 38. Because at some point, it doesn't have an expiration date. We know that's our homie. Yo, you do your job. That's my guy. That's my
Go
man.
on,
This is
baby.
what I'm talking about.
Right.
But then that day where he don't jump like he's supposed to, like the wind just blew. This thing used to pop up.
Right.
I gotta go talk to the doctor. Doctor,
We got stuff for that. Though.
man,
got
it's
stuff
blood.
for that.
Listen, it's blood pressure. It's just life.
Life.
Like
Yes.
Nah,
you
but-
can't listen. Whatever you were with that chick for, either she was stacked, or you was with her for her brains, or y'all built well together. Whatever it
Right.
was that brought you to her, it'll always be there, bro. But if you can't, if that thing don't jump up, it's not her, bro. It's you.
No. I'm in my music
I agree
voice.
with you.
Music soul child.
What do you say?
Give it to
I
her.
love it when you're gaining
Right.
I love it when your hand turns
Oh
gray.
my goodness.
Yo,
Love. Okay.
I
That's
understand
the
what
song.
you're saying, boy.
You know,
But at the end of the day, it's just like this. Why you don't keep your car for 15 years? You trade it in during there every 2 years, 3 years. You get tired of that mother. But if you put it in the garage and then drive it every day.
Guess what, player? Well, every time you bring
is
it
a
out,
battle
it's
right
like
here.
you miss it, that feeling is bang. But when you drive that thing every day, bang it up here, then come, you got 4 different tires on that joint. Guess what? You don't feel like
Yes, sir.
driving that joint.
Good brothers, good sisters, I love the metaphors. This is the metaphors are so real. We are associating this good talk
With cars and revving up engines and everything else. With that being said, just know that 40% of pregnancies that occur
I get a new car because my transmission stops working,
are unintentional. Okay.
or the engine. is
And they
acting
also
on that.
found that a small
Get a new
study
car
they had
'cause I
done,
want a
they
new
found
car.
that interjectable contraceptives in men with normal sperm counts have helped control unwanted pregnancy. So,
Yes.
the study was conducted with males between the ages of 18 and 45 years old. with a steady partner of over a year between the ages of 18 and 38.
See.
So the 2 injects
Over
were
a
given
year.
to the men
That ain't
every
working.
8 weeks for 26 weeks, and it helped decrease their sperm count.
Yes.
And after the study was completed, it was noted that 96% of the males who continued with the male birth control shot were able to successfully prevent pregnancy.
Yes.
Okay. Now, mine, I didn't say prevent
I wouldn't
STDs.
want that shot.
Now, there was a second round of studies, okay? Only 4 pregnancies were reported of the whole study. However, in the end, now peep this, fellas, brace yourselves. The studies were stopped because men were complaining about having side effects the same way women experience on a regular basis when they have their period.
Oh.
So, there is a drawback. So this might be a punishment injection.
Hold on, time out.
You heard what I just said.
Yeah, I did.
No.
But see, I'm a different kind of learner.
Go ahead,
I'm
talk to
graphic. I need the picture.
What's up, L Wood? Brother, not LU.
So you're
What's
saying-
up, man?
So you're saying he was experiencing
Right?
the cramps,
Cramp like
bleeding?
No, not bleeding.
Oh, the cramps I can take
the
the
mood
cramps.
And let me
swings,
say this,
the
too.
mood swings,
What
the
you
depression,
Y'all say
cramping.
that.
Let me throw this
And
out
then make
there,
sure
too.
not
Here's the reason
the
why
not the
the male
menstruation
body cannot
aspect.
do
Right.
How many kids you got?
None.
How many kids you got?
Those.
How many kids you got?
None.
How many kids you got?
2.
I got 6. I'll take the cramping.
Let me say this. Let me say this before we get to that.
Go ahead, DJ Chuck.
We
Chuck.
gotta be careful
Mine
with
was
that, though.
scripted, though.
Oh,
We
Chuck,
gotta be careful.
Chuck got something to say.
We gotta be careful with that though, because that could be also a way to destroy a race too.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I was
hold
talking
on. Who's the most like we have a lot of kids out of wedlock as far as the the black race. So if they're putting it out there, it's basically pointed towards us. I think.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think that destroys the race. I think what
Because
that
who
what,
knows the side effects
what-
after destroying your sperm count?
what
Then
that what
Can't
that
procreate.
Messing with it.
what that
Tuskegee.
what that does
Right.
is,
That's right, man.
is allow. I mean, again, I would need for my black physicians to get in the forefront of that. If
Right.
it's something that is
Right,
going to
right,
be pushed to us, and I needed to be explained what are the side effects. But I honestly think at some point we have to get a hold of our numbers count, because we're not giving the proper attention to the numbers that we currently have.
Right. And I agree with you. I agree
So
with you, man.
if every day I say, "Oh man, this is getting terrible," and then I get another book over here and another book over, eventually I'm not gonna be able to walk past it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at some point I gotta be able to take it away and say, "All right, don't put no more books over here." So for me, you tell me, because a lot of men get snipped after they have a couple kids.
Right.
Now you don't have to get snipped. You know what I
But
mean?
what I'm talking about is for the
get your
younger
shot.
generation when
Right.
they don't want it. You know, 'cause
Right.
they start off young. Like a mother will put their child like say,
Their
put
daughter on birth control at
like around
13.
15, 13, right.
Taking my son.
So if you do this to your son, right,
Taking
and
it.
check this out.
No, we
When
listen
he
to
gets
you.
about 25, 26, ready to have kids,
Right.
like
He
he
might
have
have
kids.
no
He might be
Like, look
sterile.
at it. Like that shot might destroy, like they say, it kills your sperm count. So how he might not be able to have kids.
He'd be like EU. He'd be
So
straight.
big.
He'd be able to travel, and he don't want no kids. I don't listen.
No. I never said I didn't want kids. When my goal was at 35
Right.
to have kids,
Right.
get married. That
Right.
was my goal.
Right.
There you
But
go.
once
There
you
go, Al.
started,
I like that.
once you started your goals and following your dreams, you mess with a woman. They say, "Okay, I understand everything you're doing.
Right.
Now I'm not on the corner. I don't work towards the future. So whoever my